Here we go.
All right, we're live. JCI USA, I'm President Justin. I'm so excited. Our national executive team has worked really hard to bring a fun experience tonight, a murder mystery, and please just enjoy it and be inspired and have fun during pandemic. Enjoy yourselves, and here we go.
Awesome. Thanks, President Justin, for coming on. We have a pretty exciting night to get started here. But before we start with the actual murder mystery, I also have Leadership Development Director Heather on, who's going to tell us about some of our upcoming trainings and events that we have coming up in the next week as well. How are you, Heather?
Good. Hey, Membership Development Director Ross. How are you tonight?
Good. Pretty excited. I
am. I'm very excited. Welcome to JCI USA Murder Mystery Episode 1, right?
Right.
Exciting. I'm excited to see the members that will join us tonight on Facebook Live. But just to give some of our members that might not know, please follow us on JCI USA. That's where we're posting a lot of our virtual events that we are doing this coming week. Well, starting tomorrow, we will have game night at 8 o'clock as far as every Saturday. We do that as well. And even if you don't play Uno or play a card game, feel free to jump in and kind of socialize, meet members from all around the area. And that's headed by Ross and NVP Margot. And then starting next week, we'll have game night again on Tuesday. Also on Wednesday, starting at 6 p.m. Central Standard Time, we'll have happy hour. On Thursday, we will tune into Leadership Live with NVP Miranda, and then followed again by Saturday game night starting at 8 p.m. But this weekend, we do have some trainings that are coming up, and it's still not too late to sign up. You can sign up tonight and even maybe in the morning. But tomorrow, starting at 9 a.m. Central Daylight Savings Time, would be JCI Impact with yours truly, President Justin. Also tomorrow is JCI Effective Leadership with past President Noel. And also tomorrow at 3 o'clock is JCI Social Responsibility with JCI VP Shanella. So our JCI Vice President Shanella will be joining us as well. So thanks to digital technology, we'll get to see her tomorrow. But if you have any questions about signing up for these trainings, please reach out to myself or Neil Fitzgerald. We can get you signed up for those. But and follow our page, because we will be having some JCI trainings as well as non-JC trainings coming up in the next few weeks on the weekends and even some during the week. If there is a specific training that you or your members would like to see, please don't hesitate to reach out to myself, or if you would like to be a trainer, let us know. We'll be glad to hook you up with that. I just want to let you know that I'm here to help you along with our other team members, and also be looking out, because hopefully in the next few weeks, we will roll out our convention registration for St. Louis. Our celebration of the century will be in St. Louis in October. So please stand by for that. That will be coming out as well. So I look forward to see how our mystery is going to go tonight. I know that the exec team has been working hard on this, and we will definitely see some fun entertainment tonight. We can say that. So thank you, Membership Development Director Ross.
You're welcome. Thanks, Heather, for all the updates. I know we have a lot of programming and a lot of events going on. We really want to keep everybody together during this pandemic, and it's a lot of fun for not just our members, but it's a lot of fun for us as an executive committee to come together and really have a lot of networking opportunities, training opportunities, things that we might not normally have. So yeah, lots going on. Right. President Justin, did you have anything else to add?
No, again, just enjoy tonight, have fun. Everyone just relax and enjoy a show, and just get through this time of pandemic, unfortunately. But overall, I just want to share that just please take advantage of every opportunity that we're giving at JCI USA. You don't have to do everything. You don't have to do any of it. But if you have time to sit in on a training, you're likely to meet someone from around the world. And there's just so many opportunities. If you look towards the opportunities versus the negative side of what is happening with pandemic, you'll be better. You yourself will be better when you come out of this.
For sure.
So thank you, everybody.
Yeah, great message. Thank you, President Justin. So I'm going to go ahead and hop off here for just a second. I'm going to go see if our suspects have arrived for our virtual murder mystery. We were going to do this in person, but with everything going on, we figured we couldn't go any longer. So we decided to do it virtually. So let me go see if our suspects are ready and we'll get this started.
Okay.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Bye. Thanks.
Well, hello, everyone. We have a real crazy mystery for you tonight. It has a little bit of everything: forbidden love, family secrets, nefarious plots, and murderous schemes. Oh, my. Well, first, let me introduce myself. I am Chief Interrogator Blanche LeBlanc, assigned to the case. Yes, I know, my mom named me after a golden girl, but remember, I can arrest you for making fun of me. And I'm talking to you, Emily. Tonight, you will become a detective and help us figure out which one of these crazy characters has up and committed murder. Let's go over a few ground rules first. First of all, welcome to our first murder mystery. Please keep in mind that this is our first time ever doing this virtually, so we may have a few technical difficulties here and there, but just bear with us. Also, we're going to be giving out some Amazon gift cards if you guess who the murderer is. So make sure that you put those guesses into the chat. You will be presented with alibis, backstories, and potential clues to help solve the mystery. Feel free to take notes as you go. There will be opportunities for questions at designated breaking points. All questions will be submitted on Facebook through the comments and will be read by me at designated times. We will try to get as many questions in as we can, but we will have some time restraints. Make sure you also preface if your question is for a specific character or suspect. Please try to enter your questions at the designated breaks to ensure that they are read and they're received at the right times.
And it's Toby's now.
What's going on? Are you having a rough time out there?
Yeah, Toby took my broom.
So just make sure that you're keeping up with your evidence. Here's a little bit of backstory. There's a mystery afoot in the Big Easy. The crew of Midas King, Pierre Dupree, has been murdered and strangled with a set of Mardi Gras beads. It's time for all party revelers to put down their hurricane drinks and discover the truth about his demise. Pierre was always suspicious of those looking to sink their claws into his fortune. Was it the greed of those around him that put old Pierre in the grave? His beloved family members, friends, and neighbors have now become suspects in this Garden District murder. Let me give you the police report. The victim, Pierre Dupree, was strangled with a set of antique Mardi Gras beads. The necklace was strung with metal wire, making it possible for the murderer to strangle the victim without the strings of the beads breaking. Mr. Dupree was discovered on the floor of the billiards room at Dupree Chateau, sprawled in front of the leather chair. A half-empty glass of brandy sat at the table next to the chair. Several seemingly synthetic feathers were scattered around the billiards room. There was no evidence of blood spatter on the victim or the crime scene. There's also no evidence of forced entry into the room. It may be assumed that the killer entered and left the billiards room through its only door. This is Mr. Dupree's last will and testament. To my dear friend, Stephanie Peake, I leave $1 million. She will remain executor of my will and oversee my financial affairs. To my household staff, I leave $10,000 cash. To my beloved daughter, Alexis, I leave my entire estate, including Dupree Chateau. To my wife, Melissa, I leave $25,000 and a one-way ticket, coach class, back to Las Vegas. I know she only married me for my money, but I still had a great time. I especially enjoyed her many attempts to persuade me to change my will and leave her all my money. It was the best time of my life. And now it's time for you to meet this ragtag group of suspects.
Well, hello, y'all. My name is Alexis Dupree. I am the only child of Pierre Dupree and his late wife, Honey Dupree. Their wedding was one of the greatest society weddings in the history of New Orleans. Tragically, my mother passed away 10 years ago during plastic surgery. I am also the reigning Magnolia Queen. My sorority sisters worked tirelessly to help me win that crown. I was also crowned Debutante of the Year by the Garden District League. I've truly led a charmed life. I've attended the finest private schools in New Orleans, and I'm about to graduate with an art history degree from Dixie University. Go Crawfish!
I am Melissa Dupree. I'm Pierre's wife. We've been married only 3 months. We met in Las Vegas during a slot machine tournament. I was working as a cocktail waitress in the high roller slots area. I accidentally tripped over his oxygen tank. I was horrified. He was so sweet about the whole thing. He invited me to the 99-cent buffet when my shift was over. We spent the next 2 days together having the time of our lives. Pierre fell hard and fast for me, but hey, who wouldn't? We were married at a romantic chapel on the Vegas Strip just 3 days after we met. I was going to be Pierre's queen tonight at the Mardi Gras ball. Even though Alexis has done a wonderful job as queen for the last 5 years, Pierre needed a wife beside him.
I am Cayenne Pepper, the Dupree family's live-in chef. Mr. Dupree and I met when I was working as a shucker at his favorite oyster bar in the French Quarters. He immediately offered me a job at Dupree Chateau, where I did odd jobs around the house and cooked snacks for him in the afternoon. He loved my cooking. Even back then, I knew he would turn up the heat. Mr. Dupree knew that I was a talented chef with unlimited potential, so he offered me to pay my way to culinary school.
Bonjour, my name is Elise English. I am the living maid here at the Dupree Chateau. My family has worked here for 3 generations. The Dupree and the English families traveled over here together from France and settled in New Orleans. I have always lived in the gatehouse above the garage in the rear of the property. Pierre Dupree has always been so kind to me, and he has let me in on some of the most interesting secrets. Why, just recently, he let me know that he won the necklace online at the auction. He plans to give it to Madame Dupree tonight at the ball. Why he would waste that beautiful necklace on a tramp like her is beyond moi.
Well, I'm sure none of you know who I am, because in this social circle, I don't even exist. And in case any of you self-centered socialites care, I am Bourbon Dupree. That's right, I'm a Dupree, the illegitimate niece of Pierre Dupree. My mother was a burlesque dancer in the French Quarter. She has a love for the bottle and showed it by naming me after her favorite liquor. She met Pierre's brother, Jean-Luc, and they fell madly in love. When she gave birth to me, Jean-Luc gave me the Dupree name. My parents were engaged to be married when Jean-Luc died mysteriously at a Mardi Gras party at Dupree Chateau, and looks like death at these parties is becoming strangely commonplace. Anyway, he fell down a flight of stairs and broke his neck. My mother was left with nothing since she wasn't officially his wife. She died 6 months later after she drank too much and fell into the Mississippi River, by the way. And I was sent to an orphanage and lived there until I was 18. Well, hello, Duprees.
My name is Matthew Gator Krovitz, and I am Alexis Dupree's fiance. Everyone who knows me calls me Gator because I grew up in the Bayou, St. John, and my family is 100% proud Cajun. My family catches alligators, makes sausage, and sells the hides. We are hardworking, honest people. Speaking of honesty, I don't feel comfortable at these fancy parties. Ugh. I've worked my butt off to get a scholarship to the Dixie Law School. Go crawfish! I'm going to take the bar exam next month.
Good evening. I'm Stephanie Peake, Esquire, Monsieur Dupree's personal attorney and best friend. I'm also our darling Alexis's godmother. Her late mother, God rest her soul, was my second cousin. I live down the street at the Peake Mansion. Pierre was my only client. I feel as though I've lost a brother. I couldn't have asked for a better client or friend. This is just so devastating. I need a drink. When I'm not tending to the extensive legal affairs of the Dupree family, I am busy overseeing the restoration of my magnificent Garden District mansion. It's my life's dream to restore the Peake Mansion to its former glory before those damn Yankees invaded the South.
I am the internationally famous author Konica Gothica. My Legion of the Doom series of books has made me a multimillionaire. Despite the objections of some of the elderly members of the crew of Midas, I was invited to join the crew 10 years ago. They wanted the biggest celebrity in the Garden District to serve, and of course, that happens to be me. I know they are using me, but I was using them too. Membership in the crew has already opened so many doors for me that my money couldn't. Nobody snubs Konica now.
Well, I don't know about you, but this bunch, I don't trust them as far as I can throw them. And I have a bad back and I would hate to tip a nail. But this is the time, if you have any, put those questions in the comments and we'll see what we can find out from these bunch of ragtags here.
Interrogator Blanche, I have a question.
Yes, Melissa.
This whole time I have suspected Elise, our maid, in stealing my earring, but it looks like Bourbon has stolen my earring because I can't find the other one. And this was given to me on our wedding day.
Melissa.
I'm sorry, this is not yours. You must be mistaken. This was left to me by my father, Jean-Luc.
Okay, Miss Bourbon, we have a question for you. How old are you?
I'm young, and I'll leave it at that.
Yes, ma'am. And Miss Stephanie, what are you drinking?
It's an old fashioned.
And again, for Miss Bourbon, why are you holding a trumpet?
I'm a musician, silly. I'm here to entertain for the night.
And another one for you, Miss Bourbon. You're a popular one tonight. Does it upset you that you've been outcast from the Dupree family?
Of course.
Another question. This one goes to you, Mr. Pepper. Why do you have beads?
You'll soon find out.
All right. And last question for this round. What type of old-fashioned are you drinking, Stephanie?
I'll leave that as a mystery.
All right. Well, we'll take one more, and then that's the end of the questions for this round. This is for both Cayenne and Elise. How do you feel having to take care of all these rich people? Do they treat you well?
Oh, Pierre has always been so kind to me. He is like a father, really.
And same here. He gave me my shot and my opportunity, and I'm willing to seize it.
Do y'all believe him? Anyway, chapter 1.
This is horrible. I can't believe someone murdered my daddy. I'm just at the most exciting stage of my life, and all of a sudden I'm an orphan. I vow to find my daddy's killer and make sure that person pays.
Pierre was the love of my life. I can't believe he's gone. What am I going to do without him? Even worse, this evening was supposed to be my triumph as the queen of the crew of Midas. And now it's ruined. Now I'll never be queen. I'm too upset about this. Can we finish this conversation tomorrow? I need a drink.
The day I graduated from Dixie Culinary Institute was the proudest day of my life. Mr. Dupree was like a father to me. I owe him everything. Naturally, I returned to work at Dupree Chateau as the family chef. In my spare time, I star in the highly successful Access cable TV show, Turn Up the Heat. In fact, it's such a successful show, a major television network wants me to produce it.
Mon Dieu, I cannot believe that Monsieur Dupree is dead. He was always so good to me. This has always been my home. I do not know what will become of me now. I can only hope and pray that Mademoiselle Alexis will still employ me at the chateau.
All right. Well, in case your heads are too full of thoughts of money and societal preeminence to realize where I fit into tonight's picture, with all those questions, obviously you guys are confused. I'm here because of my jazz band. I was hired to entertain you lazy rich monkeys. Uncle Pierre had no idea I was a member of the band. And in fact, I don't think the man knew anything about my secret life. I am the dirty little French Quarter secret of the Dupree family, and I couldn't wait to see the look on his face when I told him my name. He would have kneeled over on the spot.
I came to this party to ask Mr. Dupree for his blessing. Alexis and I are in love and we want to get married. We are devastated that her daddy won't be able to walk her down the aisle. Don't worry, sugar. I'm sure my daddy will be happy to do it. We'll buy him a pair of overalls and some boots. He cleans up real nice. Even though I'm engaged to an heiress, I still have to work on weekends as a swamp tour guide. I have a full scholarship, but still need plenty of cash to take Alexis out to the fancy restaurant she likes. Just because she fell in love with a boy from the bayou doesn't mean she's ready to give up her princess lifestyle. You should see the 3-carat diamond platinum ring she wants. It costs $25,000. Do you know how many pounds of alligator sausage I need to sell to make that kind of money? Jeez.
Pierre Dupree kept me very busy with very complicated legal affairs. He was always suing or threatening to sue somebody. He also changed his will frequently. Every time he had an argument with a family member, he would call me to draft a new will and disinherit that person. It was exhausting. I don't know what I would have done if I wasn't being paid by the hour. A wealthy client with a short temper and a volatile family is a lawyer's dream come true.
My stardom has shot me into the highest levels of popularity. Even better, I am part of the Louisiana elite. I'm invited to parties attended by the most influential people in the state. I also attend a few Hollywood parties every year. Celebrities love my books. Movie producers are fighting over the rights to my novels as we speak. Who wouldn't want my life? Pierre was just jealous of my status here. While I have devoted fans, he just has devoted enemies.
These people are a nightmare. They don't have enough sense to come in out of a hurricane, but they're dumb enough to commit murder. But here we are, and it's time for you super sleuths to enter any questions you have at this point. I have a question for Alexis and Gator. How long have you been dating?
Oh, Gator, do you want to tell our story or shall I?
Go ahead, darling.
Well, Gator and I met when I went to visit an alligator farm just as a sorority venture, and I just couldn't take my eyes off of him. So we've been dating probably for about a year and a half, wouldn't you say, Gator?
Yes, my dear. It's been the best year and a half of my life.
Okay, this one is for Melissa. Are you jealous of Alexis?
I mean, it is very nice to have a man that says yes or no to every single thing that you want him to, just like she does with Gator. But I was Pierre's love of his life, and I had everything that I wanted. You don't see any gorgeous necklaces on Alexis's neck, do you?
Okay. Miss Stephanie, why were you left $1 million in the will?
Well, I've told you. Mr. Dupree was my best friend, and I'm also the godmother of Alexis. So it only made sense to leave me the money, so that way I could properly administrate to who it could go to.
Okay. Miss Alexis, remind us how we lost your dear mother.
That's just a story I don't want to recount now that my dear daddy is gone.
Okay. And Gator, have you ever studied murder law? And are you just marrying Miss Alexis for her money?
Absolutely not. I love Alexis. We fell in love at my gator farm. And no, I did not. I actually studied law, a different law, but I will not disclose that at this time.
All right. And this one's for Bourbon. Are you here to claim your portion of the money as a second daughter?
I'm the niece, but I do carry the Dupree name. So, Stephanie, I'll be asking you later if I'm on that will.
And Miss Stephanie, were you ever more than friends with Mr. Dupree?
With all of the time that I spent changing Mr. Dupree's will, I had no time for romantic involvement with Mr. Dupree or anyone.
And another one for Miss Stephanie. When's the last time Mr. Dupree's will changed?
He changed it quite often. It was fairly recently, maybe even last week, that he changed it.
All right, last question for this section. Miss Conica, who were some of Mr. Dupree's enemies?
Well, pretty much everyone that lives in the Garden District despised the man. And that's just to name a few.
All right. And now we're on to chapter 2.
All right, y'all. I've never met my cousin Alexis or my Aunt Melissa. This is obviously the worst time to meet them. But even though the Dupree family wanted nothing to do with me, I kept up with them in the society column of the High Society News. I was touched by the whirlwind marriage of Aunt Melissa to Uncle Pierre. What a beautiful love story that was. Hashtag sarcasm. This is one of the recent newspaper articles that I clipped out about Uncle Pierre and Melissa. I think you guys might be interested. It gave me a laugh. I knew these high society parties would be fun, but I had no idea how much. So it reads, the society debut of Melissa F. Dupree was the most entertaining dinner party I've attended in years. Dupree Chateau was buzzing with Garden District's most important residents. Pierre Dupree was as handsome and charming as ever. He was beaming with pride as his bride approached the staircase for her grand entrance, and apparently Mrs. Melissa Dupree changed her gown at the last minute. Such a diva. Pierre was as shocked and horrified as the rest of the guests when Mrs. Dupree descended the staircase in a horrific gown that I wouldn't let my poodle sleep on. The spandex mermaid-style dress made her look like a character from a Dr. Seuss story. Don't even ask me about the 5-inch platform heels that she must have borrowed from a Bourbon Street stripper. Mrs. Dupree has a lovely figure, but her taste in clothing resembles a Vegas streetwalker more than the wife of a distinguished millionaire. Poor Pierre, he should have brought an empty wallet home from Vegas like everybody else does instead of her.
Hanukkah must be thrilled that Pierre is dead. She can finally host the crew of Midas Mardi Gras ball next year. Ever since we threw her a bone and invited her to join the crew of Midas, she's been plotting to get Pierre ousted as our king and become the first ruling queen. She's always been the jealous type. She's made such sad attempts to lure us to her refurbished ballrooms for this year's ball. In fact, they were just really pathetic. Did you really think that spending $1 million on our remodeled ballroom would buy our loyalty? Hanukkah was also involved in an online bidding war with Pierre over these antique Mardi Gras beads, the same ones he was strangled with. You must have really been furious when he won that auction, Hanukkah. Were you hoping to wear them when you were crowned queen of the crew of Midas? You're delusional. We all know Pierre was planning to give the beads to Melissa tonight at the ball.
Yes, I wanted that necklace. I love jewelry and was quite upset after I lost the auction. Still, do you really think I would kill Pierre over an online auction? That's ridiculous. I did, however, win this gilded stylist to finish writing my book with in that same auction.
An envelope arrived by messenger this afternoon. The messenger must have been celebrating Mardi Gras all morning because he seemed pretty drunk already. The envelope was addressed to Hanukkah, but he delivered it to Dupree Chateau by mistake. He was probably scared off by that group of freaks she calls a fan club. They're always hanging around on her sidewalk. Dear Miss Gothica, I hope these plans are what you have envisioned for the Dupree Chateau renovation project. What renovation project? As we discussed in our earlier meeting, renovations for your project should take approximately 1 year. We are ready to begin as soon as you acquire the property. Please let me know when you are ready to move forward with your plans. Sincerely yours, Vinnie Priceman. I wonder what my father would have said if he knew about your plans for Dupree Chateau. Hanukkah, I was just going to show him this tonight after the party, but somebody murdered Daddy before I got the chance.
I may hate that egotistical man, but how this mansion looks affects all of us in the Garden District. Those plans were going straight to Pierre. I had some wonderful ideas to liven up his chateau, and I wanted to show him. He deserves only the best child, and I think I can make that happen for him. When I am not working on my latest novel in my Legion of the Doom series, I'm always happy to come outside and visit with my fans. Those lovely ghouls sleep on my sidewalk just to catch a glimpse of me. They travel from all over the world to visit my Garden District mansion. They have walking tours that are devoted to visiting my mansion and other points of interest featured in my novels. I adore my fans. They mean everything to me.
The last few weeks have been hard. Pierre has been having stomach problems, and his doctor was out every other day. I told him to stop eating that rich food that Cayenne made for him, but of course he didn't listen. He probably had gout. I'm on a strict low-carb diet, and now I'm beginning to wish that Pierre would have joined me on it and taken better care of himself. His last few days could have been much happier. I don't know if this will help, but I did find this in our bedroom the other night, and it said, "Dear Mr. Peak, enclosed are this week's expense for Peak Mansion. As I told you on the phone, we discovered serious structural damage that was not evident to us when we performed our initial inspection. These major structural repairs will cost approximately $300,000 in addition to the original proposal for $250,000. Please be assured that we are doing our best to keep your cost under control. When we're finished with the project, Peak Mansion will be the finest showplace in the Garden District. Sincerely, Jerry Simmons."
Well, of course I'm getting my mansion renovated. I'm concerned for the reputation and well-being of this district, and it's important for my mansion to look beautiful.
This morning, I was about to take our Dobermans, Rex and Lafitte, for a walk when I opened the front door and there was a pile of salt shaped like a cross in front of our doorstep. I told Pierre about it, but then he just said it was a prank and not to worry about it. How could I not worry about it? Especially after Elise said that it was voodoo and that she carried a crucifix around with her for the rest of the day. Alexis, I noticed that you were reading a book on voodoo earlier. Do you know anything about this?
Yes, I put the salt cross on the doorstep. I wanted to scare you. I'd hoped maybe it'd spook you enough that you'd leave town. Daddy and I didn't need you around.
Well, I overheard an interesting conversation between Monsieur Dupree and Gator. It was about 6 o'clock, and Gator found Monsieur Dupree in the billiards room. He was smoking his cigar and having a warm brandy. I was next door in the library, cleaning, of course, when all of a sudden I heard Monsieur Dupree screaming and shouting. Naturally, I was concerned, so I ran to the billiards room to make sure he was okay. I put my ear to the door to see if he was in any danger, and I heard Monsieur Dupree tell Gator, "I will be dead in the grave before I let Cajun swamp trash like you into this family. Now get the hell out of here." Then a glass hit the door and shattered into pieces. Well, Gator ran out of the door like the place was on fire. So I went in to check on Monsieur Dupree, but he just asked me for another brandy. So I refilled it for him, and he told me to leave him alone. So then I went to the kitchen to see if Kaya needed any help with dinner.
Wait. Yes, I was in the library having quite the discussion with Pierre. I tried talking sense into him in a sensible manner, begging him for a blessing of me and Alexis's marriage. But he just kept bad-mouthing me. He didn't think I was good enough for his little girl. I had to yell at him just to be heard. Finally, I gave up and left. Cayenne sure is a strange character. A few days ago, I came over to pick up Alexis, and Cayenne was making gumbo. Probably should have used some of my gator jerky. And so I had to go and test the pot. You know me, I'm a little nosy. Cayenne started cussing at me, knocked a spoon out my hand, and told me to get the hell out of his kitchen. He's so dramatic.
That Grimpy Swamp Thing was sticking his fingers in my gumbo. Gator, I don't appreciate people coming to my kitchen and tasting my culinary creations without permission. Of course, this comes as no surprise. Only a low-class swamp rat like you would disrespect my wishes. And yes, sometimes Pierre did request some special ingredients meant just for him. He liked me to disguise the worst tasting medication by putting them in his food.
This piece of paper fell out of Cayenne's cooking notes on the counter. I picked it up and haven't had a chance to give it back to him yet. Monsieur Pierre, I am writing this letter to you from my deathbed. The doctors tell me that I don't have much longer to live. As my dying wish, I beg you to claim our child as a Dupree and raise her as your own. It is my hope that someday you can love her as you love Alexis. Even though our affair was brief, I am thankful that we remained civil with each other. Our daughter shouldn't suffer for our mistake. She was an innocent child. Yours sincerely, Fifi.
I gave that letter to Cayenne to hold on to. Fifi is my mother, and I recently found out that Pierre Dupree is my father. I confided in Cayenne to watch it and to make sure that nobody found out about it.
Ooh, Mr. Dupree was parking his car in everybody's garage, it seems like. But right now is a great time for you to put those questions in. This one is for Bourbon. Who in the family knew about you?
Well, no one, apparently. I'm a nobody to this social circle.
And this one's to Stephanie. I thought you and Pierre were really good friends. Why were you charging him so much?
Well, I did graduate from a top law school in Louisiana. My legal expertise is highly sought after. So in order to keep me or to keep Mr. Dupree as my only client, he had to pay me to make up for the lost clients that I had from him keeping me so busy.
Fair enough. This one is for Elise and Cayenne. Did you know that you were being left money in Mr. Dupree's will?
I didn't. I was a faithful employee of Mr. Dupree, and I would have never asked for anything.
No, I was just the maid.
This question's from Melissa. Did someone tell you to wear that dress?
No one told me to wear this dress, and it was going to look amazing if I had this actual the whole jewelry set, but I still think that Bourbon has stolen my other earring.
All right, whatever, Aunt Melissa.
Who was the last person to see Mr. Dupree alive? Any takers?
I mean, I saw him this morning before I took the Dobermans out, but I don't know that that was the last time because there was like a 4-hour time frame that I was walking the Dobermans. And then I came back home and he was dead.
Hanukkah, why would you make changes to the chateau when Alexis was left the estate?
I was planning to offer Pierre a very generous offer to buy Chateau Pierre Dupree. Sorry. in order to build a bed and breakfast for my fans. Now that he's dead, maybe Alexis will take me up on that offer.
What kind of medication was Pierre taking?
Who are we asking? Because Cayenne did like to put a lot of medicines, and he was the one that prepared his meals. He didn't like to swallow pills, so we should ask Cayenne.
No. I wasn't the one giving him the medication. I was the one helping him so he could take his medication. Now, wifey, you would probably know what kind of medication he's been eating or taking.
He was fond of the little blue pill.
He was 80. All I can verify is Viagra.
And someone asked, what was the cause of death? And the cause of death was strangulation by Mardi Gras beads. And this is for the Duprees. Did you know that Peak Mansion, Stephanie's mansion, was going to be undergoing renovations?
Well, yeah, Stephanie has been telling us all about her renovations, so we definitely knew about it.
I personally did not know about it because they do not involve me in their family matters and friendship matters. And I didn't realize the close relationship between Stephanie and Pierre.
Who all knew that Mr. Dupree liked to drink bourbon?
Well, anybody who knew my daddy knew he liked to drink just about everything.
Well, that's all the questions for now. Let's move on into chapter 3.
All right. When I came in earlier, I was helping my band unload their equipment. And guess what? The chef and maid Frenchie over there were going at it by the trash cans. So dirty. Anyways, does anybody else here know about their employee benefits?
I can tell you about that. Yes, I am having a secret love affair with Cayenne. He detests the Dupree family almost as much as I do, but he adores moi. Pierre Dupree had a very strict rule about employees dating, but that never stopped our heated love affair. Cayenne was just as spicy in the bedroom as he was in the kitchen. Anyway, as I said, I recently discovered that Pierre Dupree was my father. I was cleaning the attic and found a box of letters from my mother, Fifi. So I hired an attorney and began a paternity suit against Dupree, forcing him to pay me the support he never gave my mother. I gave my letter to Cayenne. He is my lover. We share everything together. Very soon, we plan to share a piece of the Dupree fortune.
You all might want to be interested to know that Miss Conica offered me $10,000 to infect my gumbo with food poisoning for tonight's ball. She said that one of her fans is a biologist and has access to deadly viruses. She wanted to humiliate Pierre and convince the crew of Midas to move the Mardi Gras ball to her mansion next year. The sure sign of a desperate woman. Of course, I refused. My reputation is more valuable to me than any amount of money.
Okay. Yes, I offered money to Cayenne. I thought a case of explosive diarrhea might tarnish Pierre's image as the perfect host. That doesn't mean I wanted to kill him. My intention was to embarrass him, and that's it. I ordered a glass of Merlot at the bar tonight. Well, it was no surprise to me that the wine Pierre serves tasted like swill. Pierre's never been great at selecting wine. I searched the room for a plant to pour my drink out in and found a mask and black cape hidden in the corner behind the potted palms. Why would someone throw away a costume at a masquerade ball? That doesn't make any sense. A while ago, Pierre came by once again to complain about my adoring fans. After our brief heated discussion, which left me with my hoarse voice, he abruptly left and this letter fell out of his pocket. Why would he be carrying this note around? Dear Ms. Dupree, congratulations on your acceptance into our School of Performing Arts. You are one of the applicants chosen out of 10,000 aspiring musicians. Please send your $5,000 tuition deposit as soon as possible. This will ensure that you have on-campus housing and will also secure your placement in our freshman class. We look forward to meeting you soon and helping you begin a promising career as a professional musician. Best regards, Roger Townsend, Office of Admissions of New York Conservatory of Modern Music.
All right, well, obviously, I'm the only one of you corrupt idiots with any musical talent. Of course, that letter belongs to me. Pierre was my anonymous benefactor while growing up at the orphanage. When he learned that I wanted to pursue a music career, he arranged for me to attend Dixie University, but insisted that his involvement remain a secret. So many secrets around here. When I got into the New York Conservatory of Music, they not only sent me an acceptance letter, but Pierre received the notice as well, which sucks. When I insisted on attending school in New York, he came out of the shadows. He revealed his true identity. And guess what? Disowned me. I was never able to attend college as a result. The district is full of drama, scandals, and hatred, just like the circle here. How coincidental to have an author in the middle of things. I've read all of Kaneka's novels, and I am a huge fan, by the way. But in book 2 of her Legion of the Doom series, a Garden District millionaire is found strangled with a strand of vintage Mardi Gras beads. Isn't that interesting?
First of all, that's a coincidence. And I appreciate you being a fan. I do adore all of my fans. But it means nothing. I am a fiction writer. The characters and the plots in my stories are purely made up. Maybe someone planned to murder Pierre in that manner in order to frame me.
Even though there was a 53-year age difference between us, Pierre and I were madly in love. And I know that I have father figure issues because my daddy left me in a trailer park and my mom in a trailer park in Reno when I was a baby. And I've never had a man love me and care for me like Pierre did. But it reminded me of the movie Pretty Woman. I had to pinch myself every morning because life here is kind of like a dream.
I'm not buying Melissa's devoted wife act, and neither should any of you. Last week, she called me at 10 p.m. and asked me to come over as soon as possible. She told me to bring my briefcase and my notary stamp. I knew something important was going on. I arrived to a horrific scene. Melissa answered the door in a feathered black negligee with matching heels. Vegas trash. She told me to bring my briefcase to the master suite. When I opened up the door, you'll never guess what I found. Pierre handcuffed to his antique bed. He was drunk and nearly passed out. There were empty whipped cream cans and chocolate syrup bottles all on the floor. After I finally got over my initial shock, Melissa showed me a new will that named her as the sole beneficiary of Pierre's entire estate. She took the handcuffs off Pierre and asked him to sign the will. I knew Pierre wasn't in his right mind to sign any papers. I told Pierre to sober up and we talked the next day in my office without Melissa and her bag of tricks influencing him. You're a real piece of work, lady.
First off, what goes on in the bedroom is between two consenting adults and it's private. Pierre was drunk, but drunk with passion. He wanted to surprise me with his plans to change the will. He loved me, and as his wife, why shouldn't I have everything?
Well, I think somebody is out to get me. My Mardi Gras ball gown was slashed to pieces. Who would ruin such a gorgeous gown? My daddy spent good money on it, and I had to call my favorite designer and have a new gown sent from New York City. I realized the competition for Magnolia Queen was especially brutal this year, but I never dreamed my rivals would be such sore losers. I'm really afraid. What if somebody meant to kill me and my darling father got in the way? I could be the next victim.
Well, I attended the library 10 minutes after Gator's argument with Monsieur Dupree, but I could not go in there because Alexis was in there arguing with her daddy. She was shouting and crying. I heard her say, "I'm going to take my trust fund and run away with Gator. You and your Vegas trap can rot in this house." Then Monsieur Dupree told Alexis, "You can marry Gator if you like, but you won't get a penny from me." He told her that he was changing his will the first thing in the morning. If Alexis ever married Gator, she would receive nothing. Well, Alexis was so upset, she knocked the feather duster right out of my hand when she ran past me in the hallway. She has a terrible temper and a very, very short fuse. I honestly believe that she is practicing voodoo. This entire family is teetering on the brink of hell.
It looks like our sweet maid does more than just clean. I find it hard to believe that you were just checking on my daddy. Regardless, I'm his daughter, and I'm entitled to fight with him. I know he didn't approve of Gator. I was only trying to convince him otherwise, you nosy nitwit. I wouldn't be surprised if you were the one who slashed my beautiful dress.
I ruined your ball gown. For years, I've watched Pierre spoil you like a little brat. Well, I am a support too. I should be living the high life. I deserve everything that you have.
Hey, Cayenne, aren't you about to tell everybody about that big magazine article that's coming out about you next month? There was a good reporter here last week. I came inside to drop off some alligator jerky. Yum, yum. For Mr. Dupree, this fancy cooking writer asked me for a taste. He loved it. He asked me all about my family sausage business and wanted to come to the swamp and take our picture. I'm sorry I stole your thunder, Cayenne. Ha ha, loser. I know you were real mad about that.
As usual, Gator was hanging around my kitchen uninvited. Of course, I still made the cover of the magazine. Why wouldn't I? That magazine reporter was just being polite to you. He didn't even like this alligator jerky.
I was in the kitchen earlier tonight. Cayenne had a recipe folder out on the counter. I couldn't help but sneak a peek at his latest culinary masterpiece. In the folder, I found this old contract. It looks like Cayenne was pretty much chained to the Dupree Chateau while Pierre was alive. I am eternally grateful for Pierre Dupree's generosity. In exchange for Mr. Dupree paying all my expenses in obtaining my Master Chef degree at the Dixie Culinary Institute, I agreed to work as the Dupree family chef for 10 years. This contract may only be terminated early by Pierre Dupree. The contract will also terminate if Pierre Dupree dies before the 10th year of service.
I was slowly poisoning Mr. Dupree. Killing him was the only way I saw out of this long-term enslavement he calls a contract. This is my chance to turn up the heat. TV show national, and I can't waste any more time. I refuse to have an old, stubborn man mess me up. At Pierre's age, I knew it wouldn't raise any suspicions if he died in his sleep. Melissa is on a low-carb diet, so it was easy for me to keep their food separate. Turns out I didn't need to bother. Someone else took care of it for me.
Oh, remind me not to get the self special. Talking about bubble guts. Ugh, There is way too much going on in that kitchen that's not cooking. But this is a time for you to ask our suspects a couple more questions. Bourbon, how many times had you met your uncle, Mr. Dupree?
I've only met him a handful of times. As you all heard during this chapter, he disowned me. So I was begging him to still support me financially in going to school, music school. That's it.
Who all has read Miss Conica's books?
I have not. I hired her to write my autobiography about coming from a trailer park to New Orleans mansion, but I have not read her book.
I have millions of fans all over the world, so lots of people read my books.
I have tried to read.
No. I have millions of fans.
Miss Alexis?
Oh, I was just going to say, I tried to read the first one, but I'm not very good at reading. It's just not for me.
Oh, okay. Well, Miss Stephanie, aren't you violating some type of attorney-client privilege to reveal this information?
Miss Melissa is the one who called me. She's not my client.
Someone asked what color were the feathers in the billiards room where Pierre was found. They were multicolored, like they came from one of those ones that kind of had all the colors mixed in.
Kind of like those on a feather duster, Interrogator LeBlanc.
I guess so.
My feather duster is made from real ostrich feathers. You would find those cheap, synthetic, purple, multicolored feathers on something that Melissa would wear, like a Las Vegas streetwalker.
Oh, all right. This one's for Cayenne. How many years ago did you sign that contract with Mr. Dupree?
Oh, it just seems like forever. I swear that old man, he just kept me under his reins. Yes, I'm very thankful that he sent me to culinary schools, but I wasn't gonna let anyone take me away from my dream of being a TV host and a national star.
All right, detectives, I hope you're keeping up as we move on into chapter 4.
Last week, Gator came to me to visit me at my mansion. He told me about his love for our darling Alexis. Gator was desperate to marry her, but he knew Pierre would put up one hell of a fight over a boy from the bayou marrying our little princess. Gator informed me that he was about to graduate at the top of his law school class. He asked me to take him on as an associate in my law firm in hopes that Pierre would then accept him into the family. I couldn't help but to laugh. That Gator trash working for me. Why would I want to help that boy? One thing I hate almost as much as Yankees is Cajun swamp trash. Alexis, how could you shame your family this way? You need to marry a good Southern boy from your own social class. That swamp rat isn't good enough for you, honey.
Oh, Miss Peak, I object. I still think I would be wonderful working at your firm. I am a hard worker, and I could bring some Cajun style into that stuffy, elite Louisiana lawyer office of yours. I think Pierre would have been pleased to see me work with such a favorite of his. Plus, he would have had no problems letting me into the family if I had your law firm on my resume.
Why is it people can't seem to respect my kitchen? Just this morning, Miss Peak came to visit Pierre and she left her briefcase on the counter while she used the bathroom. When I moved it off my workspace, this paper fell out. Now seems like an appropriate time to return it to him and asked for an explanation. Miss Peak, why are you signing checks to yourself? Now, as you can see here, she's made it out to herself. She signed it for $150,000. But if you notice, Mr. Dupree's name is not there with a signature.
Yes, Pierre gave me an advance on my paycheck. I told him I was doing some work on my mansion. Pierre and I were best friends. He would have done anything to help me out. Not like it's any of your business. Stick to cooking, Cayenne, and stay out of my finances.
Well, I'm wondering when Conica is going to tell everyone here about her true feelings for Pierre. Just 5 years ago, she and Pierre had a passionate love affair. There was even talks of a wedding when Pierre had a drunken one-night stand with a transvestite burlesque dancer. Conica was furious, and don't Pierre. They've hated each other ever since.
Well, I guess we're going to be dragging skeletons out of my closet. Yes, years ago, I was in love with Pierre. We were planning to get married, but he cheated on me. When I found out about his drunken one-night stand, I was devastated. I finally opened my heart to a mortal man, and he stomped on it. Pierre blamed his indiscretion on one too many hurricanes at Pat O'Brien's. But how could he be too drunk to realize the stripper was really a man? It was the ultimate betrayal. Since then, I've only been involved in meaningless flings with my young, handsome fans who are totally devoted to me.
Monica, you would have been a great stepmother. We would have so much more in common than me and Melissa. I'm sorry Daddy treated you so badly. You always knew he was a little freaky after those hurricanes. When Daddy partied, he partied hard.
And guess who always had to clean up after him? Anyway, Madame Dupree, Melissa, was anything but a devoted newlywed. But just last week, I was walking by the master suite when I heard the water running. It was too early for Madame Dupree to be taking her bath, so I wanted to make sure no one left the walk room. And what did I find? Madame Dupree dumping Monsieur Dupree's Viagra down the drain.
Look, it's no secret. Pierre had a history here in New Orleans, and I've had a hard time fitting in. These old hens of the Garden District Ladies League, they won't invite me to their luncheons, and they treat me like garbage. And I don't know what their fear could be, aside from my younger age and fantastic looks.
Well, 2 weeks after Melissa and Pierre's wedding, I saw Aunt Melissa at a pawn shop in the French Quarter. She didn't know me, so I followed her into the shop and browsed while she haggled with the owner over a box of expensive jewelry. Then she asked the pawnbroker if he knew any good costume jewelry designers that could replicate the items that she was trading in. What an ungrateful and deceitful woman. So I doubt you're missing your earrings. You probably pawned it.
I thought her jewelry looked rather cheap. Anyway, I found this postcard while I was going through the mail last week. I put it in my apron pocket. I was going to show it to Monsieur Dupree, but Madame Dupree would never leave him alone. She was always checking his pulse. Anyway, it says, Melissa, I need $10,000 this month. Pay up or the old geezer finds out about everything. I'm coming to New Orleans to pick up my money in person. See you soon, baby.
Okay. I started giving a Vegas friend of mine, Wayne, some money after I married Pierre. It wasn't supposed to be forever, but it was just so he could get back on his feet. I did start pawning my jewelry because I didn't want to ask Pierre for money. Anyway, I guess word spread among my Vegas friends that I married a rich man and Wayne had gotten completely out of control. He's requesting obscene amounts of money. He's gotten so greedy, and now he's coming to New Orleans to collect.
I guess what happens in Vegas should have stayed in Vegas.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, well, there is just surprises around every corner and under every skirt. With these people as friends and family, are we sure that Mr. Dupree didn't off himself? Anyway, I need a drink. But I guess I'll let you guys ask a few more questions. But be quick. I got a picture of hurricanes calling my name. Gator, why would you want to work for a law firm that only has one client?
Well, with my knowledge, I was going to plan on bringing in more and more clients to make that law firm much, much better. So one day I would have my name as a partner on that building.
Your trash people could never afford the cost at my law firm.
Oh, this one's for Elise. Why were you going through the mail?
I'm the maid. I often pick up the mail. Do you expect these rich people to do it on their own? No. Alexis is lazy.
I really
Yeah.
don't think that's in your job description, though, Elise.
Well, Miss Alexis, what do you have against your new stepmother, Miss Melissa?
Oh, I can't stand Miss Melissa. She will never be my mother. She is trash, and I begged my daddy not to marry her.
Well, okay. All right. Well, these suspects are about to give you their closing statements.
Well, even from the grave, my daddy is trying to manipulate me and ruin my life. Now I find out about a secret half-sister, Elise, which hasn't been confirmed by DNA. Might I remind you all? But I will have the last laugh. Daddy didn't have time to cut me out of his will after hearing of my plans to marry Gator. So I will get all the money, and of course the beautiful mansion, and my swamp lover, the best of both worlds. This town has no idea what they're in for. Gator and I will rule New Orleans social scene. Gator is in for an extreme makeover too. We are going to be royalty in this town. I'm grateful to the murderer in this room. The killer saved me from a life of poverty in the swamp shack with Gator. No offense, honey. I'll send the murderer pralines and soap on a rope to improve jail life, but I will miss my daddy.
No offense taken, dear. Alexis is my true love. I would never jeopardize my chance to marry her and live out the rest of my life with her. Love you, dear. I never dreamed that I would marry the Dixie University Magnolia Queen. Ooh-wee, and join one of the richest families in New Orleans. I knew that I'd always find a way to support Alexis and keep her happy. I just didn't think it would be this easy. With Pierre dead and his original will still valid, Alexis and I can move into the Dupree Chateau and live like royalty. I can't wait to build a wing into the back of Dupree Chateau and move in the rest of my family. My 20 cousins and 10 aunts and uncles are going to fit right in. Of course, my mom and daddy will live in the main house with us. The Crowitz family is going to bring the Garden District back to life. Honey, we're going to have a big crawfish boil for the whole block when we return from our honeymoon trip to Lake Charles. I can't wait to check out those gambling riverboats. From now on, it's first class all the way, baby. Gator out.
I plan to take Pierre to court and win millions. A successful paternity suit will still make me rich. I didn't need to murder Pierre Dupree to get the fortune that I am entitled to. That money is my birthright. It belongs to me just as much as it belongs to Alexis. Even though I had plenty of opportunity to kill the old man, I did not. That should put me ahead of the rest of these attempted murders. No. As for you, Alexis, you have not heard the last of me. You will see, sister. Cayenne and I will destroy this family and get the money that belongs to moi.
I was poisoning Pierre, but I didn't murder him. I was hoping that his death would be a slow and painful one, just like my employment here. I can't get anything accomplished in my kitchen anymore. This house is like a Grand Central Station. My destiny is to be a famous TV chef, and that greedy man was keeping me from following my dreams. I can't serve one family. I must share my talents with the world. With the old man dead, I'm free from my contract, and the network will finally produce my cooking show, Turn Up the Heat.
Well, yes, I'm glad that Pierre Dupree is dead. Like, who here isn't? Come on, don't be hypocrites. Pierre robbed me of my childhood and my birthright as a Dupree. I should be living in this mansion with my family, receiving the best of everything. Instead, I have to hustle for spare change on Bourbon Street, playing for tourists. Do you know how humiliating it was for me to play with a shoebox in front of me collecting tips? I had to compete with those tip dancing kids with bottle caps on their shoes. They always got the best corners. Gangs of them beat me up regularly, but I never gave up my dreams of being a great jazz musician. And I won't lie, I came here tonight to kill Pierre Dupree, my uncle. My plan was simple and perfect, and I knew I could easily disguise myself, kill Pierre, slip back to the ballroom, play another music set. The only thing that I didn't count on was someone else killing Pierre first. When I entered the room, the old man was already dead. All right? He was already dead. Naturally, I got the hell out of there. I didn't want anyone to think I had something to do with the old geezer's death. I took off my costume in the downstairs bathroom and ran back on stage. I didn't have time to hide my disguise, so I threw it in one of Pierre's potted plants. So I was in Mardi Gras costume earlier before I changed back into my diva outfit as a musician. So I had no idea Kanika would be digging around in there. Who digs in potted plants anyway? Unless they're hiding something themselves, right? Well, that doesn't matter now. I didn't do anything illegal, and now I can finally claim my father's fortune and move to New York to pursue my dreams.
I've said it all along. I married Pierre for love. And I also love dead presidents. It doesn't take a woman like me to realize that a man in his 80s doesn't have too many years left to live. I knew that a fatty Cajun diet emphasized by cayenne and a Viagra prescription would also speed things along. But I also knew that if I was going to be a good wife to Pierre, I could enjoy Pierre's money if he was dead or alive. Until people changed that. My rotten husband, Wayne, from Las Vegas, threw a wrench in my plans with his blackmail scheme. I spent most of my allowance from Pierre paying Wayne off. My plan was to play it cool and convince Pierre to change his will and to leave me everything. But unfortunately, somebody killed the old geezer before I could do that. It's the story of my life. I just can't seem to get out of the trailer park no matter how hard I try.
I have many devoted fans who would do anything for me. Yes, they would even kill. While I know some of them enjoy imagining themselves as part of such drama, I don't condone taking those thoughts into action. I could have easily murdered Pierre and staged a crime scene that no detective could solve, but I am not a killer. Luckily, I don't have to worry about Pierre anymore. I hope Gator and Alexis will be better neighbors than Pierre was and respect my fans. I'd love to take both of you to lunch and discuss the future of Dupree Chateau. I'm prepared to make you a very sweet offer. Wouldn't you like to leave this ugly experience behind you and begin your married life together in a brand new house?
The remodeling costs at Peak Mansion are out of control. I'm about $500,000 over the original contractor's estimate. I won't buy anything but the best for Peak Mansion. Under my guidance, it will be known as the jewel of the Garden District. Today, Pierre discovered I was stealing from his precious Pierre Dupree Historical Foundation to pay for the restoration of Peak Mansion. I had no choice. I needed that cash to keep my dream alive. Do you think it's easy living on the richest street in the Garden District? My home is falling apart around me. Why shouldn't I enjoy the same luxuries as my neighbors? I worked night and day for that old man. He owed me. I deserve the money Pierre set aside for that foundation. Technically, my home is a historical building and it deserves to be restored to its former grandeur. My plans for Peak Mansion would have made Hanukkah's house and the Dupree Chateau look like mere garden sheds.
Whoa. Okay, then. Well, detectives, we're about at the end of our case and almost ready to reveal who the murderer is. It's that last chance to get in any questions you have for the suspects. We'll give you a few minutes to get those in the comments.
So can I still get crowned the Magnolia Queen tonight at the ball?
Melissa, the ball is
You're
over.
never gonna get crowned, Melissa. That's ridiculous.
You're gonna get a different crown.
Oh,
Queen of the streetwalkers.
Oh.
I wonder if her crown will have a prison ID on it.
Can I just take you all to jail? Oh.
I'm innocent. It's one of these folks.
I need my earring back, Bourbon.
I told you it's not yours.
Okay. I think these super sleuths are ready to reveal who they think the killer is. All right, guys. Well, this is your chance. Put who you think killed Pierre Dupree into the comments. We're going to give you a few minutes to get all those guesses in there, and then we're going to reveal the true murderer of Monsieur Dupree.
Make sure you all buy my next book. It'll be coming out in September.
Make sure you guys see all my television shows.
Hanukkah, could I get an autograph?
Of course, sweetheart.
I have a GoFundMe account set up to like send me back to Las Vegas because I didn't get anything.
You got a coat ticket back to Las Vegas, trash.
Oh, you people.
Really, Stephanie, that sounds exactly what a killer would say.
Why don't you pawn all those jewelry you have?
She already did.
Well, if you would give me my other earring back, I could pawn the whole set and make more money.
This is too good to be yours. Sorry.
Then where's the other one?
Might have dropped it. I don't know.
Why don't we ask Elise, because she probably dusted that as well.
Probably dusted fingerprints too.
I would never be caught wearing any of your trashy jewelry. I am a maid, but I have taste and class. And soon when my lawsuit goes through, I will have just as much money as all of you.
Yes, you do, baby.
Yeah, you guys can move on from the trash cans. Get a room.
Could actually be Alexis because Gator can't afford to buy her real jewelry.
Oh, the shade.
Melissa, why are you trying to throw everyone under the bus? Everyone knows that you were just a gold digger straight from Vegas.
You've already admitted to wanting to just coattail us so that you could have the Mardi Gras parade next year.
I just wanted to embarrass you, not kill you, but you embarrass yourself already.
Do you have my earring then? Because give me my earring so I can fly back to Vegas and get away from all of you.
I don't want your cheap earring.
My cheap earring is worth more than your whole entire second series is.
I find that very hard to believe. You don't even know how much money I got from that.
I found that book very hard to read. Not because I can't, just because it sucked.
Gator, I have a hard time believing you read.
Gator, did you give Mr. Pierre some of that jerky? He must have died choking on it.
Oh.
He did not die.
Hey, Irvin, this is the most tender jerky you will ever put in your mouth.
It is delicious.
That's what she said.
Okay, friends. I think it's about that time. Will the murderer please reveal themselves now?
I am the murderer. I didn't plan to murder Pierre. He called me into the billiards room and presented me with a copy of the check I cashed for $150,000. I thought the copy that self-centered chef found was the only one, but I was wrong. I guess the bank sent him another one and must have been going through the bank statements before the party. I'd hoped that if I did get caught, Pierre would be more sympathetic. I was wrong. I was being completely written out of his will. He told me that as soon as he took his new will to the courthouse, he was going to the police station to press charges against me for embezzlement. Not only was I losing my job, but I would be disbarred and face jail time if I was convicted. I needed to do something that would keep Pierre's mouth shut for good. I pled with Pierre to forgive me. He just wouldn't listen. I saw the Mardi Gras necklace on the table. I grabbed it and I strangled him before I even realized what I was doing. I ran back downstairs to the party and made sure that everyone in the house thought I had just arrived through the front door. I was hoping that since Pierre had so many enemies, the police would never suspect his best friend. I'll take out a second mortgage on the Peak Mansion to fight this case. I'm friends with the best lawyers in Louisiana, so I shouldn't have a problem. I was temporarily insane. I'll beat this rap. You just wait.
Oh, so the best friend did it, or the lawyer. That's unfortunate. Well, thank all of you fine detectives helping me track down the murderer of Pierre Dupree. We can't wait to see you on series 2 of our murder mystery series. Hope you enjoyed it. Come back soon, you hear?
So do I get to still go be queen of the Mardi Gras ball?
Melissa, the ball is over.
You get to go to the pawn shop.
Just give it up already.
Okay, so I can go pawn this and we can just call it a day because the Viagra didn't work.
Neither did the handcuffs, apparently.
Stephanie, you stay there. I'll be over with the handcuffs as soon as I have a couple of hurricanes. Okay?
Madam Interrogator, I believe the Dupree family put up some money to give to the people who were the super sleuths. I think we had some that might be getting a little reward money.
All right. Yes, that is true. The gift cards that the Duprees put up are going to Miss Crystal Alvarez. Excuse me if I messed that up. Too many hurricanes. Miss Bethany Miller and Heather Ham. Congratulations, Super Sleuths.
And thank you
get the
so much
reward.
for helping us find my daddy's killer.
Don't you
I
worry.
told you I was innocent.
Private message JCI USA with your email address, guys.
So we can make sure that you get your reward. Until next time, in the next chapter, whew, these people are crazy.
Au revoir.
Peace out. I'm back to New York.